This is the Nation's Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. I want to continue to keep people updated on everything that's going on with the Neuralink tests that are being done. I've obviously covered the human experiments. That's what we'll call them. The human lab rats that are publicly out in the open. People who have ALS or who have Parkinson's disease, who have already had the Neuralink implants given to them. Of course, the reports that keep coming back are that they're doing wonderful. Everything's great. And that's all you're going to hear because this is going to be the new future, brain-computer interfaces. And the latest test is that Neuralink's other company, their sub-company under Neuralink, it's called Blindsight. And not enough people know about Blindsight and who they are and what they're trying to do, at least. Most people obviously aren't even familiar with Neuralink yet, and they only associate Elon Musk with Tesla, and they don't realize that right underneath Tesla, the main objective here that they want for everyone moving forward is brain-computer interfaces, Neuralinks, instead of cell phones. And they're not mentioning it to people because they don't want to scare people away from obviously being on the bandwagon that they've currently created for MAGA with Elon Musk. So it's important to warn people about this. So the company Blindsight has done a test where a monkey can see without using its eyes. That's right, a monkey who doesn't even have eyes is currently capable of being able to see. So Neuralink's Blindsight, for anyone who doesn't know, is an experimental brain-computer interface which is designed to restore vision in individuals with severe visual impairment, potentially even those blind from birth, by directly stimulating the visual cortex. The device has received breakthrough device designation from the FDA, indicating its potential to significantly advance vision restoration. And Neuralink, again, is beginning the human trials for this in late 2025, early 2026. So they're doing experiments now on animals to let people know. Again, this is what they do. They put this stuff out in the open. We know that the Neuralink is already through testing. There's people who already have Neuralinks and had Neuralink technology injected into their bodies. And for those of you that don't know, Neuralink's brain-computer interface, which they expect people to have inside their bodies, will connect you to the internet wirelessly. So if you're wondering why during the outbreak there were so many people who were finding themselves connected to Bluetooth, well, think no further than the Neuralink. So I want to play for you a quick clip of Elon Musk that I want to talk about not only this experiment that was done on monkeys, but also the Neuralink babies. There's a topic out there about Neuralink babies and how a lot of the Silicon Valley tech guys are waiting to have children after the brain-computer interfaces become normalized because they want to make what they call super intelligence human beings. So this is the mixing of iron and clay. Here's Musk talking about being able to cure the blind.
The next product is Blindsight, which will enable people who have lost both eyes or have no eyesight whatsoever to see. And this is directly interfacing with the optical processing areas of the brain. So, I think this is interesting progress. Ultimately, the goal of Neuralink is to have a high bandwidth interface in order to mitigate the risk of digital superintelligence.
So again, when you hear stuff like that, the average person is going to think that it's wonderful. The average person is going to say, wow, technology is really advanced. This is great. Somebody who is born blind, they feel bad for them. So their natural response is going to be, well, let them have that technology. Someone with Parkinson's, let them have that, right? That's good for them. It could save their life here on Earth. Obviously, people like me and you, we see through the deception and are well aware of their plans with transhumanism. So again, remember, before I get into detail about these monkeys, the Neuralinks are going to be the new cell phone. Brain-computer interface. There's going to be a lot of different companies that produce this, okay? Elon Musk has talked about the cell phone going obsolete. All of these guys have. Apple is even openly talked about, which I covered last month. Their new tech may soon let people control iPhones with their brain. That is through brain-computer interfaces. Even Zuckerberg has openly said that this is the end of mobile phones and that brain-computer interfaces are indeed the future. And keep in mind when you heard the word superintelligence, Elon Musk has been talking about, he said, as I mentioned several years ago, it increasingly appears that humanity is a biological bootloader for digital superintelligence, which means it's like updating a computer with new software, right? You're the computer. They're going to put the software inside of you. The software is this technology that they plan on putting in people. And of course, once they start making the cell phone obsolete and you're no longer to get it, people are going to get hit with so much propaganda as to how beneficial this technology is, this superhero-like technology, how they need this, how it can cure the blind, how it can cure Parkinson's, how you can live longer, how you can anti-age. They're going to fall for this deception. And they even, think about in terms of miracles, right? We hear about false miracles in the Bible. They talk about technological miracles. That's what we're seeing around us, technological miracles. And remember in Matthew chapter 24, verse 24, for false Christs and false prophets will arise to perform great signs and wonders so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. Revelation chapter 16, verse 14. For they are demonic spirits performing signs who go abroad to the kings of the whole earth to assemble them for battle on the great day of God the Almighty. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9, the coming of the lawless one is by the activity of Satan with all power and false signs and wonders. We're seeing this now with technology. Technology, people just think is something that's created in a laboratory, that these guys are just geniuses, they're figuring this stuff out. And it's going so fast that people aren't even paying attention to the fact that technology is literally performing what we could look at or perceive as miracles, but these are really deceptions. These are demonic spirits, and they talk about this openly with artificial intelligence summoning the demon. How many times have I shown you the clip? Artificial intelligence. We are literally summoning the demon. That's what all these big tech guys say, even Musk.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out.
So blind sight is what we need to pay attention to as well, because blind sight will be linked to Neuralink. Neuralink is the name of the company, but they also have the blind sight implant, which restores vision. So during a recent conference, one of the engineers, Joseph O'Doherty, revealed that tests on a monkey successfully induced visual hallucinations. Visual hallucinations. So seeing things that aren't actually there. We're talking about spiritual realm. We're talking about being able to manipulate the mind into seeing things that aren't actually there with this type of technology. This is not beneficial in helping people who are blind see. They're going to see false visions. They are going to see manipulations around them. So the tests on the monkey successfully induced visual hallucinations. The animal saw a non-existent object about 2/3 of the time. While human trials are still pending regulatory approval, Musk has stated that blind sight could eventually surpass natural vision, enabling capabilities like infrared sight. So think about all that programming again I've talked about. Your superhero programming, right? What do you think of when you hear, I could see an infrared, the Superman with his eyes, or Cyclops, or any of these superheroes who could see through walls and all this other stuff. That's how it's going to be marketed to people. You have even better eyesight, even longer lifespans, even though the majority of people don't even want to be here, but they'll tell them that they can live longer because they fear death so much, because most of them don't have salvation or are not comfortable in death through their salvation, that they would want to live longer. Even Christians who claim that, they're looking forward to the new kingdom would still rather probably be here on earth. So all these things are going to be tools that they use to manipulate people into this. So Buss has stated that blind sight could eventually surpass natural vision. Meanwhile, Neuralink is also testing implants for paralyzed patients, converting neural signals into digital commands. Think about that. Converting neural signals into digital commands. So in other words, some of the stuff that's out there, even China's experimenting on this. The thought that you have with your mind actually happening on a computer screen. So people are obviously able to play video games. That's what we've seen so far that they've shown us these demonstrations. But the technology is way more advanced than that. Even talking about people playing Mario Kart with their mind, blind people, etc., that they have the capability of communicating through neural signals into digital commands. But what you really have to pay attention to is how the digital commands are going to send signals to your brain. So it's not about you sending neural signals out and commanding electronics. The electronics are going to be sending neural signals directly into your brain. So 5 participants are already using them up to 60 hours a week. Future applications may restore mobility without prosthetics, and blind sight could pair with special glasses to aid the blind. Since monkey brains process vision closer to the surface, human testing will require deeper electrode placement using Neuralink's surgical robot. So this is what's going on in 2025. And if anyone's wondering why Elon Musk got pushed into the mainstream more than he ever has been in the past and is yoked up and linked up directly now with MAGA and Donald Trump, and these people who once said they'd never buy electric vehicles are going out and buying Teslas to support Elon Musk because they think he's saving them, their tax money. They think that he's actually going to send them a check in the mail for all this stuff that Doge supposedly did, all part of the psyop that's out there to get people on board with supporting Musk. These people don't even know about the Neuralink. They don't even know about the mark of the beast, most of these Christians. And this is the type of technology we're talking about in regards to the mark of the beast. We're talking about visual hallucinations that monkeys are having because of neural signals that are being sent to their brain. They're seeing things that aren't actually there. You might as well just call this possession in a sense, right? Super intelligence. Sounds more like super demonic possession to me. And the other story that's out there is another big tech guy named Alexander Wang is talking about Neuralink babies. That's right, Neuralink babies, because this is how they want people out there to think in terms of how technology is going to advance humanity, how if your child doesn't have a Neuralink, then they're not going to be able to catch up with everyone else. Your child's just going to be, a pauper on the streets. They won't be able to survive without it. And of course, this will play on people's emotions because they'll say, what, am I a bad parent because I'm not giving them the Neuralink? Am I a bad parent because now this kid has super intelligence and my kid's an idiot? My kid doesn't even know how to count because I don't know how to count, so I can't teach him how to count? Because the only way I can count is with my computer or my phone, right? Because that's pretty much the world we live in, right? So tech mogul Alexander Wang says he will not have kids until brain chips like Neuralink are ready. And they are. It's about convincing you to take it. Remember that always. This technology that they continue to whisper about and then tell you that trials are being done, it's already out there. It's ready to go. They have to convince you to take this technology, to purchase this stuff. If you told somebody in 1940 about a Ring camera on their door, they would call you absolutely insane. They would think you were doing voodoo or a witch, right? If you told somebody in the 1980s, they'd say the same exact thing. Because people would say, I don't want cameras on my home. I don't want to be watched. Who's watching on the other end? Blah, 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 blah. But now it's like, if you don't have a Ring, what's wrong with you? You don't have a Ring? You don't have surveillance on your own home? You don't want to see who's pressing your doorbell? You're not, you aren't afraid to open your door? Because they needed time to convince people, ooh, bring this technology into your home. Smart TV, smart fridge. People are buying this stuff. They don't even know what it is. I mean, I crack jokes about it. People have smart washer and dryers. Are you kidding me? So what? You put your laundry in the wash and then what? Instead of just pressing on, you need to run upstairs and drop a deuce and then do it from your phone on the toilet and press turn on the washer. I mean, what is the point of it? Now, we know the point from the corporation standpoint to get this smart technology inside your home because eventually they're going to be the ones who have control over turning these things on and off. Kind of like we saw with all the thermostats in the UK, right? People got the smart thermostat. Ooh, I could turn the air up without getting out of bed. Next thing you know, the government's saying, hey, we got a ration. We're turning your electricity down. We're leaving it, your thermostat at 81 on a hot summer day. Sorry, we got climate change. It's hot out, but you got to do your part. Right? So all these people brought all this tech in, but they would never have done it in the 80s or 90s or even 2000s. They desensitized people. They marketed it to people. They brainwashed people. Now you're a lunatic if you don't have a smart refrigerator. People are like, well, you got a dated refrigerator. Yeah, it's cool inside and the freezer's, frozen inside. That's what a refrigerator does. Keeps the food cool. Oh, but you don't have a smart one. Oh, what do I need it for? Well, you could adjust the temperature of the fridge from inside the shower. Oh, really? Oh. But because of the mind control, these people literally think that you're out of touch with technology or you're dated or you're not. Oh, come on, you got to get the new stuff. Get the new stuff. And that's how we've gotten to this point where people literally have built a surveillance prison around them with all these devices in their home. So they have to do the same thing with the Neuralink. They have to do the same thing with super intelligence, and they will. And they're going to use superheroes. They're going to use celebrities, and then they're going to play on your emotions with people who are sick so that you accept this technology. Well, that person's blind, so you shouldn't say that that technology is dangerous and shouldn't exist. We have to allow it to exist. Then they'll sell you on the benefits for you. Same with this stuff. Neuralink babies. Oh, you don't want to get your kid a Neuralink? Well, your kid's not going to, they're not going to make ends meet in this world. They're not going to even make universal basic income in this world. Don't you want your kid to live a little bit better? Don't you want your kid to be as smart as everyone else? That's what they're going to do. So this guy, tech mogul Alexander Wang, says that he's not having kids until brain chips like Neuralink are ready, believing childhood neuroplasticity offers the best window for adopting superintelligence. Wang envisions a future where children learn to use brain-computer interfaces intuitively. Neuralink's still in trials, and other companies like Synchron, which is backed by Jeff Bezos of Amazon and Bill Gates, are advancing rapidly toward making this vision possible. So look at what we're dealing with here in 2025. While everyone's distracted about how many genders there are. We have technology that is deadly technology. And I'm not talking about you're going to take the technology, you're going to die. We're talking about mark of the beast technology. This technology is advancing so rapidly that no one's paying attention. They can't even keep up with it. Now they're talking about people who are blind now having vision. We're talking about modern day miracles. We're talking about Antichrist stuff. People, someone who performs great wonders and miracles through technology, right? And then talk about super intelligence. Might as well call it super demonic intelligence or just demonic possession, really super demonic possession, like I said earlier in the video. So they're doing these trials on monkeys. They've already done them on humans. Well, I guess we could call some of the humans who already took the experiment, we might as well call them human monkeys, but they're kind of more like sheeple, I guess. And we have, obviously, this new narrative out there of Neuralink babies, of how brain-computer interface, all these people keep hearing about it, but they don't know what it is. They're not catching up with what it is. It's the phone in your body. It's tech under the skin. That's the point of all the wearable tech they've been getting you conditioned with over the last decade or so, from Fitbits and everything else, getting it under your skin. That's what AI healthcare is. Monitor and tracking under your skin through artificial intelligence. And the brain-computer interface, having these abilities to be the blind, being able to see, you're not even going to see reality anymore. Not that it's much of a difference from what we're seeing in today's world, because most people are living in an alternate reality. We have people living in a simulated reality. We have people who think they're awake who are living in another simulated reality. And then we have people who are awake. But the majority of these people are already living in an alternate world. So we're talking about them having the ability to create hallucinations in the monkey's mind. What do you think the plan is for you? You think the plan is they want you to see? Do these people look like they're your friend? Did you notice what they've been trying to do to you over the last 10 years? Trying to make you hate your neighbor every day because they vote differently, hate somebody who has a different gender preference than you or a different sexual preference than you, hate somebody based on every single thing they possibly think of, skin color, right? That's what your government's been doing to you over the last couple of decades, but specifically the last 10 years or so, we've seen it really enhanced. That's what they've been doing. And then what else did they do? Well, they locked you up for a while, right? Took your job away, told you to poison yourself, never were held accountable for it. So yeah, I'm sure we could trust these guys who are coming out with this technology. But the problem is that this technology comes out in the name of these corporations: Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Microsoft. They'll come out in these types of names that are brand names. If it came out with it and they said, the United States government now has a brain chip, what would be the percentage of sheeple that would line up? Maybe 5% who are so dumb that they would go get it? And that just would say, living in the dumbest time period ever, that we know that a lot of people still would be like, whoa, government brain chip, I don't want that. I don't trust the government, because the majority of people don't. They pretend to trust it when their party is in power, but deep down inside, they don't. So what do? When they have this technology, the government and DARPA have created this military technology that they want in you, they create these corporations. And then you go and you purchase these products like the Amazon Ring or the Echo or the smart TV, and you bring all the surveillance into your home for the NSA. You bring it in for Big Brother. And the next thing up will be, well, Apple is discontinuing the iPhone. Samsung is discontinuing their phone, the Galaxy. All of them. And then you're going to go, wait a minute, I can't live without my phone. You go one day without your phone, these people are going to die. They're going to go, wait, what do I have to do? Well, you just got to get it in your body. Well, look, Kim Kardashian got it. She's alive. It's not the mark of the beast. Look, this guy got it. They're alive. They're doing okay. Nobody's dropping dead from getting it. That's all it'll take. And then they'll go, you know what? I can't live without my phone. Everybody else who's getting it is seeing like Cyclops or all these other whatever superheroes have. I don't watch the superhero movies, obviously. Whoever has, infrared vision, Batman, I don't know, right? Oh, that sounds neat. That sounds cool. That's all it's going to take. And then these people, bada bing, bada boom, have the tech inside their body because they go, hey, wait a minute, without a cell phone, how am I going to buy stuff? I can't buy or sell anything anymore without my phone. Oh, but the phone's discontinued. Why? Well, because the phone is obsolete and it's now inside your body because brain-computer interfaces is the future. So Blindsight runs this experiment. I'm going on a little bit of a rant here because just the Neuralink babies has my head exploding that they're actually going to try to get some of these kids to be born using brain-computer interfaces intuitively. So they're going to train them on brain-computer interfaces. That's what it means. And again, remember, you don't have to get a chip implanted in your head. This can be injected into your body, into your bloodstream, if you know what I mean. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.